new security architecture is something we must do as a matter of priority and importance.
How you deliver the dividends of democracy to the Nigerian people, I'm not sure that Nigerians are as much interested in this.
And the president of this country cannot, in certain circumstances, delegate the power, the chief of staff. He can take charge of the protocols of the president, but not beyond that.
Very distinguished viewers, we want to thank you so very much indeed for being with us again, and we want to welcome you to another very exciting moments of talking politics. Today we shall be talking definitely on a number of very interesting topics, and of course to say that they are very topical is just saying the obvious. And I'd like to welcome my brother, my very, very good friend, and I love your friendship, I must tell you, Barrister Alakwe Mbanefo.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome one more time to the studio, sir.
Thank you.
This morning, I'm sure that it will not surprise you if I say with all emphasis that South Africa as a country, our government and our people have become, honestly, an embarrassment to the African nation. And people have been talking about one tongue twisting grammar, Xenophobia. And this has been with us for quite some time now. But the attitude of the South African government, our people, and of course, everything that represents, whatever it is that they represent, seem to suggest that a new thing, a spirit that is strange to the African continent has suddenly crept in. Because suddenly they have just woken up to say that something is happening that we cannot really define. But my little problem is not the thing that has suddenly developed. My little problem that in the spirit of African unity, isn't there somebody in the whole continent of Africa who can sit back and say, this is not what we thought several decades ago, when the spirit of the Organization of African Unity, OAU at that time, and later it became AU, and nobody is talking, nobody is seeing anything wrong in Africans, real full-blooded Africans being massacred in South Africa, an African nation. Would you like to look at this constructively, sir?
Yeah, it is quite disturbing, and very, very worrisome. Looking at the history of South Africa, looking at the role the other African nations played, and looking at the role Nigeria played as a big brother, as at that time, of ensuring that the white supremacy rule in South Africa was removed, and Nigeria was the focal point. I think Nigeria's foreign policy, was at its best then.
At that time,
and I still remember Akin Yemi, the then Minister of Foreign Affairs,
Professor Bolaji.
Akin Yemi, yeah, and I still remember Joe Garba, the then Nigeria's Foreign Minister, how they were shuttling between Nigeria and other nations, trying to ensure that South Africa gets independence. And then finally, Nelson Mandela was released from prison, and thereafter he became the first black president of South Africa. Nigeria as a country then spent so much money in trying to ensure that these gentlemen and ladies get their independence. Murtala Mohammed, then the Nigerian head of state, did his best to ensure that Nigeria boycotted most of the sport activities, because he felt that
and conferences, some very important conferences, if I must add.
Yes, because he felt that the Great Britain, was in a kind of constructive engagement supporting the apartheid regime in South Africa. And this country have gotten their independence and having, made some bold steps in that time in trying to inculcate democracy in their country. Suddenly decided to, come up with, just like you described, a jaw-breaking, xenophobia, by trying to attack foreigners in South Africa.
Is it trying to attack or they did attack?
They have been attacking foreigners. Why I used the word trying to attack was because it has happened the first time, happened the second time, and we thought that the government would be responsive enough to ensure that they stopped this.
2008, 2015, yes. And yet another one.
Another one. So, in fact, they have been attacking foreigners, and especially Nigerians. And we are wondering why this attack should be on Africans. We have Indians in South Africa. We have Chinese people in South Africa. We have other foreign nationals in South Africa. Why is their focus? It's being centered on fellow black.
Thank you for using that word, black.
In South Africa. So it's quite disturbing. And again, the attitude of the South African government has been very, very suspicious, because the South African government has not made any brave move to stop these people from attacking their fellow Africans in South Africa. There is a government in South Africa. And that government in South Africa, they have their laws, they have their constitution, they have the police, they have the judiciary. So we fear that from this part of the world, that if the foreigners, blacks in South Africa, are found wanting, are found to have disobeyed the laws of the land, the police is there to arrest, and the judiciary is there to try these people. The idea of the South African youths, arming themselves and killing people without due process, without, doing what it's supposed to do, without, falling back to the law of the land, and that an offense has been committed, if any, and that this is the procedure for criminal trial, or this is the procedure for civil trial, for them to have resorted to self-help in trying to kill innocent black Africans gives much to be worried.
Is there any African that's white?
Yeah, most South Africans, are equally white.
Are you really calling those ones blacks? Are you really calling them Africans? I mean, people that are, for instance, are far friendlier than the whites. Their disposition is suspicious, and it makes me very uncomfortable. A people, for instance, for whom we stood, a people for whom we offer sacrifices, very responsible and reasonable sacrifices, and suddenly a new spirit suddenly entered them. Where was this spirit, if I may ask, when apartheid held sway?
That is why most of us are disturbed about what is currently happening in South Africa. Because we expected that if this youth that is now rampaging against blacks in South Africa, especially Nigerians, they are too young to have understood what happened then. The history is still there, very fresh in the history books. We expect the government of South Africa to, educate their people, to let them understand that we made sacrifices for their own freedom. We gave our tomorrow for their today, and we did everything we can to ensure that the whole world had our voices as at that time, to know that there is need, that mass inhumanity to man is stopped in South Africa. But despite all that we have done so far, they're not paying us back in very bad coins, and we expect that our government should be very responsive to see that our citizens in South Africa are not humiliated, are not treated like underdogs, are not treated like slaves in the 21st century world, where there is rules and regulation, where there are laws and all that. Like you earlier said, and I agree with you, that OAU, then Organization of African Unity, played a very big part to ensure that South Africans get their independence. Now, the OAU is now known as African Union, and we have not had much from African Union, because we expect.
Have you really heard anything?
Nothing.
Because I
So
heard you say we haven't heard much. Have we heard anything at all from the Secretariat of the AU?
you know, so we are supposed to see them reacting to what is happening in South Africa, come up with a policy statement and saying that, look, we condemn what is happening in South Africa outrightly, and then we are going to put so and so punitive measures against the country. But nothing has happened from that angle of African Union.
I love this angle, sir.
Yeah.
But I want us to look at it from a completely different angle, a rather militaristic angle. Now, I think this matter goes beyond just mere condemnation. A special session of the AU should be convened to discuss this situation, this South African situation. Once upon a time, and I recall very vividly, that the same thing happened in Libya. Nigerians, unfortunately, were on this same side of victimization, loss of lives, loss of properties, and so on. Now it is the turn of South Africa. Who knows whose turn it will be again tomorrow? I think, except you're telling me as a lawyer that you have gone through the charter of the AU, and in the charter of the AU, well, any African country, for instance, has the right to do whatever she likes to another African country. Otherwise, the very peace of South Africa is being threatened at the moment by South Africans themselves. What do you think?
Yeah, very correct. That because the point there is this, that we expect AU to come up with a resolution.
Yes.
Threatening South Africa that the African Union will sever diplomatic relations with South Africa if they fail to do the needful. That there is need for all members of African Union to sever diplomatic relations with South Africa. 2, that there should be an economic, blockade on all South African firms operating in other African nations. If this did not stop, that's the only way we can put them on their toes. So that because by the time we see them as a pariah nation, they can't exist alone. In international politics, you can't just stand alone. So there's need to sever diplomatic ties. There is need to also sever economic ties with South Africa, and there is need to ensure that they are not allowed to participate on anything that the African Union is doing. Because when life is lost, it can never be regained. But properties, when lost, can be regained. And we cannot see a South Africa, where the government is so weak that they cannot, control their own people, their citizens. And if it continues this way, it therefore means that all effort the other African nations made for them to get their independence were all in vain, because we can't afford to keep a nation that are lawless, a lawless nation that has no respect for the fundamental rights of their fellow human beings, that have no respect for lives and properties of other nationals, and that have no right even have no regard for bilateral ties they have with other nations, just like you said. And I think if they actually are members, are signatories to the African Charter, if they are signatories to African Union charters and some other international charters that have been written and signed, they are supposed to be bound by the rules of the game.
I want to thank you so very much indeed, but I still want to insist on this. UN, the real body, has made categorical statements concerning this issue. UN has taken a position. AU has not been able to take any position whatsoever, and for whatever reasons imaginable. Don't you think, sir, that we have gotten to a point where, if you remember very well, OAU started from Addis Ababa because of the position of the then Emperor Haile Selassie, who was the head of state.
Yes.
And of course, every African leader at that time had so much respect for him. And so I believe that being futuristic, this kind of a development was one of the things that played on the minds of the people who started and who wrote the charter of AU. Can Nigeria now threaten to pull out of AU if AU refuses the Nigerian situation. I'm not saying that I don't think it's an incitement for Nigeria to say other African countries should join forces with her. I think this is a battle that Nigeria can really fight and win. Our position now is with the AU. AU is supposed to defend every African country, not necessarily Nigeria alone. Every African country. But AU is now disappointing the African nations. What do you think the position of Nigeria as a nation, the position of Nigeria as a member of AU should be in this kind of recalcitrant that is so apparent?
Yes, the main essence of African Union is to protect the interest of political and economic interest of the member states. You know, so a situation whereby that whole idea is not what the AU members or AU as a body is now doing. It therefore means that the body now becomes a toothless bulldog. And where the African Union becomes a toothless bulldog, it behoves on Nigeria as a people. It behoves on the Nigerian government to also defend and protect their citizens.
Precisely. Yes,
by forming an alliance with most African nations they feel that they are their friends and abandon in the African Union, and also taking bold steps to ensure that South Africa does not take Nigeria for a ride. You know, so if the African Union is dormant, if they are not ready to do anything, if they are dozing about this issue, Nigeria as a country, as an independent nation, you know, can take steps to ensure that lives of Nigerians and properties are secured in South Africa. One, Nigeria can sever economic ties with South Africa. They can sever diplomatic ties with South Africa. They can also take a military action, if possible, to ensure that
I hope we don't get there.
We tell South Africans that we're not just there, you know, watching. That we owe our citizens a responsibility to ensure that we protect them at all costs. And so, but if you look at the whole thing, when Libya, then Muammar Gaddafi, and Libya was threatening, U.S. citizens, you know, then Reagan has no choice than to bomb Tripoli. And when he was asked, when the Congress was asking him that we never gave permission to bomb Tripoli, he said, "Well, I spoke to future Americans who gave me instruction to do what I did." And they were asking me, "Who are the future Americans?" I said, "Well, I spoke to nursery school kids just beside the White House there, and that in each of terrorist acts against every American, Libya has always been fingered. And the young men and women told me that I should go ahead and bomb Tripoli." And that is governance for you in action. And so the Nigerian government should put their heads together. National Assembly, the judiciary, the executive, they should discuss this issue
and discuss the South African issue.
Take a firm stand on how to deal with South Africa, you know, and ensure that they don't repeat this thing again, because once beaten, twice shy.
Not only South Africa,
any other country that will take us for a ride should actually be dealt with. And so this is time for action. This is not time for unnecessary diplomatic frivolities that doesn't work. But I think for the first time in the history of this nation, the foreign minister has spoken like a minister and said that Nigeria cannot take it again. And this is time for action. So we are waiting for the Nigerian government. We are waiting for their actions, and we are expecting that this is not a case of APC or a case of PDP or a case of opposition party. This is the time all the parties, all the citizens in this country should put hands together and come up with a firm decision on what to do to ensure that we cannot continue to take this type of embarrassment from little South Africa there.
I want to thank you so very much indeed, pulling out of the courts this morning to make sure that we fight this battle. I think this one is worth it. There are some other battles that have went for the Supreme Court and for all the High Courts and so on. Yeah. But this one's we really need to sit down together, join hands together, and make sure that we fight and win. We're not just fighting. Our very distinguished viewers, we want to thank you for staying with us. We'll take a break, and of course, when we return, we are not done with South Africa yet. We're really going to deal with South Africa from here. And South Africa will know that Nigeria is indeed a fighting nation. Stay tuned. Happy to welcome you back. And of course, we've been talking about South Africa, and I told you before we went on break that we are not done with South Africa yet. We're going to deal with South Africa from the studio, and South Africa itself will know that yes, people are really dealing with South Africa. And of course, I have with me again, and I'm very, very happy to have him here, Reverend Lulu Martins. Sir, you are most welcome to this segment of
Barrister.
Because I know, sir, that you must be boiling, knowing who you are, knowing as much as you know about the independence of South Africa and the efforts of Nigerians and Nigeria as a nation, and the efforts of other African countries, sir, in making sure that all the forces silenced apartheid in South Africa, and suddenly some youth, and whichever way you want to describe them, whatever language you want to use for them, to me it does not really matter. What matters is that I think the idea of asking foreigners to quit South Africa, sir, is not only uncivilized, it is barbaric. And if it is a spirit, where was that spirit? I did ask that question before. If you're asking me and you're telling me it's a spirit, where was that spirit when apartheid, sir, held sway in South Africa?
Thank you very much, sir. The South African debacle is difficult. It's difficult to put your hand to it because you're wondering how human beings can be so anachronistic to another set of human beings. But if you look at the South African trajectory since they got independence in 1994, you would find out that initially crime rate was the highest in Joburg, the highest. And then there was a record that every 20 seconds a woman was being raped in South Africa. Another record was that for every 5 minutes a car was being snatched in South Africa.
Yes.
So it looked like this philosophy that you can take the pig out of the death, but you can't take the death out of the pig. It appears to be a truism as far as South Africa is concerned.
Okay.
I think that South Africans have become used to being oppressed, that they have become their own oppressors. It's like what happened to Nigeria. Because we didn't seem to fight for independence, we now have new colonialists in the name of our own political, if you like, political gangsters, because that's what the Nigerian political elite have turned themselves. They become political gangsters and rascals. That's what's happening in South Africa.
Oh, why don't you say that again so that people can really hear you?
I mean,
Gangsters and rascals.
Yeah, that's what they become. I mean, if you look at how Nigeria is being run, and the language of the average Nigerian political class, I mean, at the risk of finding another word to use, they are riding roughshod like gangsters and rascals all over the place. And then these are parents who will not want their own children to emulate them.
Got a language you probably want to say.
Yes, they will not want their own children to emulate them, but they do worse than they want their own children, to do. So quickly to South Africa. So it looked like that mentality of violence, that mentality of not even believing in themselves, has become imbibed in South Africa. I was reading a few days ago where Israel had gotten out of Egypt, and here they were. The Red Sea was before them, the Egyptians were behind them. They constantly reminded Moses, you should have left us in Egypt. Well, the cucumbers and melon, we were better. You know, there were 20 years that we were better off as slaves.
And garlic.
And garlic, we were better off as slaves than being free. That's what the South African people are saying. You were oppressed by your imperial masters. You were kept on, you were subjugated, you were maligned, you were treated less than human beings.
You were not human beings at all.
And then there was a collaboration of forces, both within and beyond, to ensure your emancipation. Now you are the ones governing yourself. And you are doing exactly what you complained that the colonial masters did to you. At that, you are not doing it to, it's not just foreigners. Because this is not just xenophobia, this is Afrophobia. It's not just because if an Italian enters into South Africa undocumented, he's an investor.
He is an investor.
But if a Cameroonian enters South Africa undocumented, he's a poacher, and they treat him like anathema. So you can see that when Yorubas have a proverb, they say that the white man is the god of the black man. Because people see technology, they say Uyimbo, and I cannot as if Albert Einstein's energy, Einstein's energy theory is genderized. Knowledge is knowledge. Binary is binary. Arithmetic is arithmetic. It's not black. It's not white. Mm-hmm. Wisdom is not black. Wisdom is not white. But that's the problem with the white man. Because it's something that happens in Nigeria here. You see people who, our own military people, who are manning, who are protecting sometimes Indians and Lebanese, asking their own black brother to kneel down at the instance of the Indian and Lebanese. And then you will see a military man, a Nigerian military man, black skin, asking his brother to do frog jump because the man who is protected, who has a colored skin, he has offended that one, so he's going to ask him to do that. So I'm finding the mentality of the black man difficult to understand. Njema was signed for about $10 million in Manchester United about 20 years ago. He bought 4 SUVs the same type. Samuel Eto'o had 17 cars when he was in Nou Camp in Barcelona, and he parked 5 of them underground. Sammy Davis Jr., the tap dancer, went to dance in a club, and for 60 days he was paid 10,000 naira per day. That's $1 per day. He should have earned 600,000. He left that place owing that club $18,000. How come? He saw a Rolex feature, the same Rolex feature, 3 of them the same. He bought all 3 of them. They were asking him why. He said because he didn't want anybody in the club to wear the same wristwatch with him. He saw somebody wearing those very beautiful stiletto shoes. I'm sure that Pastor Remy will know those stiletto shoes better than some of us. That had metal in front and at the back. White and black, being a tap dancer. He bought 50 pairs at once. Fat Joe says he doesn't wear the same kind of sneakers at the same place. He doesn't wear one. He doesn't repeat one. Michael Jackson's children were known not to repeat clothes. If they wore those clothes, they threw them away. And they wore designer clothes. All of these people are listed are black people. You will not hear white, quote and unquote, the so-called white supremacists behave the way they are behaving.
No,
so
certainly.
it looks like when you come out of war, all right, people are looking for, the only way they can show that we're out of it is to look at what they have suffered. They now want other people, to suffer. It is pathetic. It is a shame.
It is a big shame.
People, this is man's inhumanity to man. And what pains me is not just because if it was general, I would have said, they don't like people in their country. But it's not general. It's against the blacks. It's not against the whites. You would have thought that giving years of slavery, giving years of segregation, giving years of racism, you would have thought that the blacks would have closed ranks and identified, if you like to say,
common enemy.
Yeah, a common enemy. But the blacks will have suffered the same thing, and now hero worshipping at the expense of their own brother. So you now look at what Ali Masri's theory years ago, where he had an intellectual feud with Wole Soyinka, that Africa does not seem to be mature to rule themselves. So he had suggested that either we ask the colonial masters to come back and collect the job and complete the job, or that we divide Africa into 4 nations.
Man of God.
It's called the theory is neo-colonialism. That's because it looks like the black man isn't ready to govern, itself and develop like other nations.
That's our own version of neo-colonialism. But let us examine this one, bearing in mind the fact that the points you made are so neat, are so true, and we feel so concerned. In South Africa, my information, and I believe that this piece of information, for instance, is absolutely true, is that the economy of South Africa itself is still very much in the hands of the whites. And so, therefore, the blacks themselves, they're angry, not necessarily with the blacks per se, but because they cannot face the whites. There is a transferred aggression. What do you say to that?
But that is a weakness in character.
It is.
Because if you cannot identify what the issues are, it's like a man who goes outside and then he comes back from his work from the office, and then your boss has breathed heavy on you. Then you come home and then transfer the aggression to your wife. It is a defect in character.
It is a defect in character.
Because ideally is that your boss is your boss. If anybody should even console you and comfort you, it should be your wife at home. And you have pointedly said it. 85% of South Africa's land, South Africa's agroeconomy, South Africa doesn't thousands import cars. They have 11 manufacturing companies, including Opel.
Okay.
Many of them are run by these so-called white supremacists. So you will think that who should we be angry with? You should think that we should be angry with those so-called people. But I think it's a platform. Look at Nigeria. Our brother here, Innocent, makes Nigerian make cars. And government of Nigeria, and another talking about federal government, state government, they will import Hiluxes from another brand and flood Nigeria with when the Hilux, when the man, somebody in Nigeria does a Hilux that is almost like that. And I'm asking myself, if the man, I mean, with all due respect, if the man were not an evil man, maybe for instance he was from one of the northern parts of the country, I can assure you that he would have had more patronage than he's currently having.
That's no doubt. Is there any doubt at all?
And so you'll now be asking yourself that why does it look like it is the black man that oppresses, the black man? And that because I haven't seen any positive action that the government of South Africa has taken, because those things didn't take place at night.
No.
Took place in the day. We saw guys burning, and then people watching them and clapping over, and you'll be asking, where are the police officers? So I dare say on television that the South African police and government are complicit in this xenophobic or Afrophobic attack, if you like to put it that way.
I'm sure, sir, that what Reverend Martin is saying is not strange to you as a lawyer. Would you say, in all sense of responsibility, sir, that the government of South Africa is not honest in this matter? Because even Mr. President himself did not use the word Nigerians or Zambians or Zimbabweans or whatever. He would just refer to them as foreigners. Is it right for an African, a bona fide African, black as we are, to be regarded as a foreigner in an African country?
Well, it's quite funny because you can be a foreigner in the sense that you're not a South African citizen. But when it now comes to the fact that we all look alike, we are all blacks, and in the same country where you also have people of different color, the truth of the matter is that whether you're a black man or you're a white man, you are a citizen of your country. You are a citizen made by God. So a black man and a white man, they are all human beings. And whether the color is white or black, no man has the power, the right to take the life of another.
I agree with you entirely.
So, but I think where we are getting it wrong is this: the incumbent president of South Africa, Ramaphosa, during his campaign, did campaign that foreigners were taking jobs away from South Africans. That if they vote for him and he wins, that he will do everything within his powers as the president of South Africa to get those jobs from foreigners and give it to South Africans. So what is happening in South Africa is a kind of a fulfillment of an election promise.
Which means that they are acting in script.
Yes, made by the president. So because during while the campaign was going on, he campaigned seriously on it that he will take what belongs to the foreigners and give to the blacks. So since the whole thing started, he has not made any statement to show that what has happened in the government of that country, is not aware of it before it happened. And so that is my own point of view. Then I also see it as a failure of government, failure of governance on the side of South African people, government. Because if the people, the youth in South Africa, can behave the way they have behaved, it therefore means that the leadership in South Africa is not doing anything in terms of proper upbringing of their citizens.
In that case, lawyer, if the president of South Africa is behaving the way he is behaving, let us now look at the position of Nigeria again. I am told, and I know it is true, that once upon a time, about a week or one and a half weeks ago, the president of this country was getting ready to go to South Africa. Should President Buhari go to South Africa at this particular point in time, or just ensure that a delegation, a powerful delegation, Nigerian delegation, led by the Minister for Foreign Affairs, goes there in the name of the people, government and people of Nigeria, do whatever it is that they can do, and then come back to give him a report of first class, first-hand report on the situation in South Africa before Mr. President dares go there.
It will be premature for the president to think about going to South Africa by now.
Absolutely.
Very, very premature. And it is, at this stage, is a diplomatic shuttle. So we expect that the Minister of Foreign Affairs and some other delegations should, delegates should go to South Africa and probably let Nigeria know, let the South African government know that we're not happy about what is transpiring in their place. If they go and come back and they are not showing any seriousness on their own part, then we can now look at the alternative, thing to do. If the only option is military option, Nigeria can consider military option. If South Africa is not showing any remorse about the idea of killing, citizens of this country who are doing the legitimate duties, even if the duties was illegitimate, there are the costs in South Africa, like there are police in South Africa. But from what we even saw in social media, the South African police was basically looting, where they were looting the foreigners' goods in the shop.
Oh, they saw.
And while they were even burning some people alive, the South African police was laughing.
Of course.
There was no attempt to arrest any person.
No.
South African police on uniform was laughing while people were being burnt alive, and they were looting other people's goods. So it is to the glare of the world that there's a kind of conspiracy between the government of South Africa and their citizens who was engaged in this act. And it is time to act. This is time for this government to act. You can't do this to the American nationals.
Reverend
You can't do it to
Martins,
North Korean nationals.
haven't we gotten to a point in the political development and history of this country where the federal government, for instance, should send a delegation, allow the delegation to come back and give us an authentic report, and the president of this nation will address the nation on the situation in South Africa and what government intends to do about it? Isn't that what we call civilization?
Well, I agree with you. Whether the president should even wait for a report is because when things like this happen, the first thing we want to hear is assurances from the president.
Honestly.
And firm statements.
Yes.
To show
This is what we are.
that you cannot undermine in Nigeria.
Yes.
So I can imagine if this had happened, even if you talk about America, you'd be going too far. Even if it was Britain, I imagine what Boris Johnson would have been saying. You would have been talking tough.
Tough.
Now, because in 1985, I remember when we had the World Cup and then we beat Argentina, we beat Brazil. The Brazilians were calling us black monkeys before the match, and then we lynched them 2-3. They offered $20 million. We should play another match, whether we win or lose. The money was for. Abacha said he's not interested. That they should go with the pain of losing the match. That we're not interested. That he can give the team that money that Brazil is giving to them. I mean, so you could see, even though he had his own minus, but you could see that pride. Somebody who call people's bluff.
That's the pride of being the head of state.
We have the largest. We are the largest black nation
In the world.
We have the largest population in Africa.
Yes.
And if you look at South African businesses that do businesses in Nigeria, for instance, Shoprite is maybe 1/6 of their output, what they generate in Nigeria. And I'll give you statistics. It is said that the champagne that Shoprite sells in Lagos, just Lagos alone,
Yes.
they don't sell in all of the Shoprite outlets in South Africa. Shoprite in Lagos, the champagne they sell in Shoprite Lagos alone is more than the champagne that they sell in the whole of Shoprite in South Africa. So, and if you look at businesses owned by South Africans in Nigeria, they are doing enormously well.
Enormously well.
And they are making so much money. So they have more, in fairness, at stake than we do have at stake. But if the president doesn't talk, Ecclesiastes says, because sentence against an evil act is not executed speedily, the heart of man is set to do evil.
Well, thank you. Well, I have not asked you to take us to the church. We'll probably go to the church on Sunday and make sure that we do this. Our viewers will take another short break, and of course, when we return, we'll wind up our discussions on South Africa. And very quickly, we look at the departure of Robert Mugabe and see what our discussants have to do and what they have to say about that old man who left at 95 years. Stay tuned. We'll be back. A man living at 95 left at the wrong time. But if you want to look at Robert Mugabe, for instance, I think he was one African leader whose memories, for instance, will linger very, very low with the British colonialists who were in Rhodesia. By the time he came, you remember he went to jail. He spent his time in Ghana and went through hell before he eventually became the Prime Minister, then became the President, and so on. And he also dealt with them to such an extent that they never would forget Robert Mugabe. But my little worry is this: can it really be said by us that are still very much around and are very current about developments in Africa, that Mugabe left his political footprints on the politics of Zimbabwe, one on the politics of Africa, two by way of looking at those people who survived?
Yeah, this is an interesting topic. The Mugabe is an interesting actor. In the sense that he was a Pan-Africanist. He was one of those leaders we looked up to. Then he was one of those leaders that Africans was very proud of. Then he was one of those leaders that fought for independence for their people. He was one of those leaders that we saw as a figure, a big figure, because he fought against the white minority rule in South Africa. He did everything to ensure that his people, get independence, got self-rule and all that. He went to prison because of his people. There is no sacrifice more than that. And thereafter, he was able to, get independence for his people, along with his other colleagues, Joshua and Como and co, who fought with him and fought against the white supremacists stuff in the Rhodesia. And later on, the people were happy because the white minority rule ended, and in 1980, Robert Mugabe became the first prime minister of Zimbabwe, formerly Rhodesia. So I think he changed the name because he felt that name was colored with colonialism and
we
injustice.
Definitely cannot finish this today, but we will start it. Yes.
So he came back and changed that name to Zimbabwe. He was a great man. As at that time, the way he fought for the independence, the way he got independence and everything. But somewhere along the line, things started unfolding. When he now became the president of that country, from prime minister to president, he considered his powers and then became the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. And then started fighting the opposition, Joshua Nkomo of blessed memory. There was on the other party. And after he died. And thereafter, he never allowed the opposition to raise their head. And thereafter, he started fighting the white farmers, taking their lands from them, and then made himself a de facto
president. Did I hear
president.
you say take their land?
Well,
they have T-H-E-I-R?
Well, the land belonged to Zimbabweans, which was occupied by the white farmers. But this time around, I'm not sure that he applied due process while he was, taking those lands back from those white farmers, and that led to a lot of diplomatic, problems between, Zimbabwe and the nationals, the country where those guys came from, and all that, and which finally plummeted the economy of Zimbabwe. And then while the economy crumbled, he later wanted to make his secretary which he married after the wife died. He wanted to see if he can hand over power to him, and that was what made the military to feel terribly bad.
I don't know whether you can lead evidence to show that actually happened. So let me leave you here. Like I said, we cannot.
From what we read from the newspapers,
Yes.
we were told that the secretary, Wam Magufu, was, becoming too powerful, and then the military felt when the then vice president went on exile, when Gawa, who is now the incumbent president, the military felt bad about Robert Mugabe's intention to make the now wife to take over from him.
Again, like I said, I have to please beg leave of you so that I can ask Reverend Olumati about your reminiscences of Robert Mugabe. We definitely cannot finish this particular topic today because I've started receiving signals from the control tower, and I should be landing any moment from now. But let me hear you talk about your reminiscences.
I'll make it quick.
Particularly in those areas where he will stagger through the hall of the United Nations to get to the podium. I mean, he was a character, wasn't he?
I would make it brief because, like they say, for senators and orators, brevity is prescribed.
Oh, it is.
It's only the lawyers that have volumes.
Okay, make it brief. Only 2 minutes left.
1,000 pages become a brief. Well, I'm sure that barrister Alakwe will help us with that. 2 Kings 5, and I don't want to preach. Naaman was a great man, but he was leprous.
He was leprous.
Zimbabwean President Robert Mugabe was a great man, but he didn't want to be the stage.
Yes.
It was Francis Bacon that said power corrupts and absolute power corrupts.
Absolutely.
Bartholomew added to say, too long stay in power makes a man mad. And I think that's what happened. And we need to say that one poor Kagame. Kagame is doing very well in Rwanda. He's got a third term. He needs to understand, and that's what this professor of Kenya said, that he wants to advise Kagame after this third term, even when people are shouting your vision, please don't have it for. He started
an African leader.
He was a comrade. Robert Mugabe was a comrade, passed it to school, did absolutely well until he began to see himself more important than people. When government fears the people, there's liberty. But when the people fear government, there's oppression. He ruled to the extent that people began to fear him and begin to consider that he was invincible. Robert Mugabe had 6 people who looked like him. So sometimes he was going to the lecture, they had the same mustache here, and then he wasn't him. The most educated president in the world, 5 master's degrees, and about 3 PhDs. Several things were attributed to him, both ones he didn't see, and both the ones that, he said, all in all, so that we can learn that a good dancer doesn't wait for the music.
I don't want you to finish this. I'll just cut it short straight away and end this program. Our very distinguished viewers, we want to thank you so very much indeed for being with us for this last 60 minutes. And of course, you can be rest assured that we'll be back again same time next week. And we want to make sure that we continue our discussions on Robert Mugabe. And somebody said to me, and I think it is true, that he may be buried on Sunday. So if he goes home very finally on Sunday, we'll come back here to sing his praises, and of course we will also not let you know that Robert Mugabe was a man. Thank you so very much indeed. God bless you.